I saw this and had to check my calendar to make sure it wasn't April 1st. I also saw the announcement video and needed to watch it about 6 or 7 times to realise that it was actually real. Jurgen Klopp has announced that he will step down from Liverpool at the end of the season. We need to talk. Okay, let's take a look. After guiding the Reds to another Wembley final, they got to the Carabao Cup final on Wednesday night, the 56-year-old will continue to oversee the team's remaining fixtures of the 23-24 before bringing the curtain down on a glorious 8.5-year managerial reign at Anfield. It's really been 8.5 years, which has seen the club win 6 major trophies. Of course, the major one of those being the Premier League trophy, which Liverpool haven't won for about 30 years. Of course, that's huge. Assistant managers will also leave, as well as the development coach. They will all vacate their positions. Linders is keen to produce and pursue his own managerial career. That's absolutely fine. Interesting that all of these people are leaving with Klopp. So I would imagine he would have informed them and they've all decided to go. It emphasises the pull that Jurgen Klopp simply has. I wonder if there are any more people to be leaving Liverpool before the end of the season. I wonder how many players he brought to the club that are now thinking, well, what am I doing here now? And just on Jurgen Klopp, before we continue any further, I think a lot of people thought this was coming last season. When you look back to what happened with Liverpool and how far they deteriorated, it really was an end of an era. It was an inability to really compete at the very, very top level. But instead of walking away at that current point, Jurgen Klopp said in his video interview that I watched earlier that he wanted to rebuild. And once he rebuilt, he was happy to almost go. He'd done his job. He'd brought them back. And then he was able to think about himself once more. He said he couldn't stop thinking about his side. And that shows the care that he has. But let's continue. Confirming his decision to Liverpool, Klopp outlines the reasons behind it and the timing of today's announcement, placing particular emphasis on the need for clarity at the earliest opportunity in order to create the conditions for an orderly transition to take place in due course. Now, I really like this because it'd be very easy for Jurgen Klopp just to say at the end of the season, I'm off, I'm going, bye guys, good luck. But he hasn't done that. He could have kept his cards close to his chest, but he cares about Liverpool, the club, the city, the fans, so much that he wants them to be able to rebuild and then go again. Liverpool will already, if not already be in the process, be starting the process of getting a new manager, and that's okay. But it's also a case of leaks. Leaks happen. I'm very surprised that Liverpool haven't leaked it to this point. I'm very surprised that somebody hasn't said something. That's very impressive. A credit to Liverpool, a credit to Jurgen Klopp, and it just shows the care that he has for the community, the club, the fans, everything. He said, I can understand it's a shock for a lot of people in this moment when you hear it for the first time, but obviously I can explain, or at least try to explain it. I love absolutely everything about this club. I love everything about the city. I love everything about our supporters. I love the team. I love the staff. I love everything. But that I still take this decision shows you that I am convinced it is the one I have to take. Now, let's focus on this here. I have to take. He feels like he's been pushed into it. He feels like he has no other option. He doesn't have another road to go down. So it's serious. Jurgen Klopp is probably one of the most intense people that I have ever seen, and if he believes that it is the only course of action that he can take, I believe it's the right one. But what course of action could that be? He's tired, essentially. It is that I am, how can I say it, running out of energy. I have no problem now, obviously. I knew it already for longer than I will have to announce it at one point. But I am absolutely fine now. I know that I cannot do the job again and again and again. And this is the major point. He's tired. He's so intense. When you see him on the touchline, he lives every kick of that football. He understands everything going on behind the scenes. It's a lot for one person to do. Yes, he has staff. Yes, he has people behind him. But I would imagine that these years, these 8.5 years, have really taken their toll on him. It's a lot to do. The pressure, the need for excellence. Manchester City are always there. They're always there. And with the need to continue to get better, I wonder how many times Jurgen Klopp can go, we go again. And clearly, this is the final time. Let's continue. After the years that we had together, and after all the time we spent together, and after all the things we went through, the respect grew for you, the love grew for you, and the least I owe you is the truth. And that is the truth. I have to give massive respect to Jurgen Klopp, massive props, because it takes a different level of person to understand, number one, when you need to walk away. Sir Alex Ferguson did a very good job of that when he left Manchester United. So he understands his time at the club is up. But he also has the ability and the just sheer duty to tell the fans what they need to know. And coming from him at the correct time, or what he believes is the correct time, is something that I can't really put into words. It's admirable. Klopp was appointed as Liverpool manager on October 8th, 2015. It was a decision that would revolutionise the club and establish it as a force at home and abroad once more. I mean, Liverpool were one of the best European sides for years, and they definitely were one of the best English sides. So yeah, that's absolutely true. He lifted a load of trophies, including that Premier League, including the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. He's won everything. The FIFA Club World Cup. Klopp added that he told the club in November. That's interesting. So he'd been thinking about it, and he told the club that they need to do it, but obviously the club felt it better to keep a lid on it for a little bit, so that they were able to, I suppose, work around it. They had a moment, they had a chance to really start to put some things into motion to be able to announce this properly. I have to explain a little bit, maybe the job I do, people see from the outside. I'm on the touchline, I'm in training sessions and stuff like this, but the majority of all the things that happen around these kinds of things, that means a season starts and you plan pretty much the next season already. So he's looked ahead and said, I can't do this. I can't go again. I'm not sure. When we sat there together talking about potential signings, the next summer camp, and can we go wherever, the thought came up, I'm not sure I am here then anymore. And I was surprised myself by that. I obviously started thinking about it. And this is a major thing. He didn't foresee himself. He didn't visualize himself with Liverpool in the future. It's clearly taken a toll on him. It's clearly taken a toll on him. It didn't start then, but of course last season was kind of super difficult. This is what we talked about earlier. Last season. And there were moments when at other clubs probably the decision would have been, come on, thank you very much for everything, so they would sack him. And that didn't happen. Liverpool stuck by their manager. I mean, I'm not surprised, but they stuck by him. For me, it was super important that I can help to bring this team back into the rails. He wanted to rebuild. Again, he wanted to rebuild the team. Rebuild the set of players once more. It was all I was thinking about. And that's never a good thing. Can I just say that? It's never a good thing when that's all you're thinking about. If all of you're thinking about is your job and what you need to do, regardless of how much you love it and how much you care about the people, if that's the only thing you think about, that's not healthy. You need a balance with everything. And even managers, with everything we expect them to do, we need a balance. And it just shows how much he cared to get it back. But that takes a toll on a person. And I'm speaking to the Liverpool fans mainly, who don't understand this decision. It takes a toll. And when you have that, you need to step back. And I think that's exactly what he's done. He's taken himself to the brink to rebuild this side, and he can't go again. When I realised pretty early that this happened, it's a really good team with massive potential, it's huge potential, and a super age group, super characters and all that, then I could start thinking about myself. He then turned to himself. He said, can I do this again? And the answer was a categoric no, it seems. And that was the outcome. It's not what I want to do, it's just what I think is 100% right. So he looked within himself and he didn't see it. He couldn't see it. But he's correct. The team that he's created is something that is very special. If you haven't seen my video on why I believe Liverpool will win the Premier League this year, I implore you, after you finish watching this, please go and check that out. Because one of the main reasons in that is Jurgen Klopp himself. He is just a different person. He is a different breed of manager that we haven't seen in the Premier League. And yeah, it's got to have taken its toll on him. Let's continue. With 5 months still left to play on the current campaign, the Reds remain involved in 4 competitions, they could still win 4 trophies. And while there are still trophies left to chase, Klopp will ensure any goodbyes are firmly put on hold until his final game in charge of Liverpool Football Club in May. Now, this is another very interesting point. The remaining part of the campaign. Because I've seen the notion that, what are the players going to think? Are they really going to be involved? Yes, they're going to be involved. This is, at best, a rallying cry against the rest of the league. That everyone, the fans, the players, the staff, are going to be 150% to bring something back for this manager. Everyone. And I mean everyone. It's a warning to the rest of the league that Liverpool are coming. Because every game will be a riot. Every game will be an affair. Every game will be an event. Because he's that important. Let's continue. He said, we will have a moment, maybe the last match here or somewhere else. I mean, in other countries or in other competitions. There's enough time to do these kinds of things. Let's now really go for it. And this is what I'm talking about. The amount of spirit that should be put into those players to go out and play for their manager that's done so much, if they weren't thinking it already, is only amplified now because of what's come out. The outside world want to use the decision, laugh about it, want to disturb us. I don't think anyone's laughing. I don't think any. I mean, perhaps other managers are pretty happy that one of the best coaches is deciding to step down, but I'm not sure about laughing. We are Liverpool. We went through harder things together, and you went through harder things before me. Let's make a strength of it. That would be really cool. Let's squeeze everything out of the season and have another thing to smile about when we look back in the future. It's just the correct way to look at it. It's the correct way to look at it. I think Liverpool have a very good chance of winning the Premier League. I think they can win the Europa League along with Bayer Leverkusen. They can obviously attempt to win the Carabao Cup because they're in the final against Chelsea, and they are still in the FA Cup. 4 competitions still to play for, and this Liverpool side are going to be absolutely terrifying until the end of the season. Responding to news, Fenway Sports Group President Mike Gordon underlined the collective determination for a business-as-usual approach until the conclusion of Klopp's tenure, while also highlighting the scale of this ongoing impact on Liverpool. I'm not going to continue. If you want to check this out, then please go. I'm not going to continue looking at what FSG said. I'm more focusing on Klopp and what he's done for the club. It's crazy when you think about the team that he's built. Let's take a look. Because if we look at the players that Liverpool have at their disposal, it's pretty remarkable. So let's go from back to front. Goalkeepers. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the world still. They have a good backup. I like Kelleher. I don't think he's particularly anything crazy, but I like Kelleher. Defensively, Trent Alexander-Arnold is coming into his prime. Virgil van Dijk is in his prime. Robertson is in his prime. Konate is still yet to reach it. Only 24 years old. That's pretty impressive. Tsimikas, again, there. They've got a decent defence, albeit a couple of additions might be made, but this is where the major surgery happened over the summer. Szoboszlai, McAllister, Thiago probably will leave, but Gravenberch, these 3 players will be Liverpool's midfield for the future. I mean, 23, 25 and 21. Yep. Harvey Elliott is really starting to come into his own. You've got Curtis Jones who's really starting to show some quality. Bajcetic hasn't even been able to play because he's been injured, but he's been one of the main standouts. And then you've got Conor Bradley, who has done a really good job when stepping in for Trent. Really impressive. Then you've got the forwards. Mo Salah is still in his prime. He's still playing games. He's still amazing. And now he's assisting more than ever because of the way that this new system is working for Liverpool. It's really impressive, and he's only 31. And the way he keeps himself fit and in shape, I can see him going for quite a long time. Darwin Núñez is an enigma to a lot of people, but he's still a quality footballer. I believe he's the only player in the Premier League, or one of the only players in the Premier League, with 10 goals and 10 assists. That's crazy when we consider how bad apparently he is, but he's not. Luis Diaz is pretty phenomenal. Cody Gakpo, 24 years old, can grow into a role. Diogo Jota only getting better. And then you got young Ben Doak here. The team is ready to evolve. The team is ready to go. And it's because of his rebuild, his structure, that he put so much into that he now needs to step down. It's admirable for me. Finally, we're going to touch on one thing, and I understand that it might be a bit difficult, but who could be next? Well, I've got one name, and I think it's something that really fits. I really do. The final name I'm going to leave you with is Xabi Alonso. I think that he could be the perfect fit. His Bayer Leverkusen side are currently leading Bayern Munich by 4 points. They are still in the Europa League, and what a thing it would be to see Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen meet, Xabi Alonso and Jurgen Klopp, the possible successor to the master. His first major stint in management has been nothing short of exceptional. The football that Bayer Leverkusen play are pretty special, and he already has massive ties to Liverpool Football Club. Just one of the names on a possible list that might be coming out later on this year. But let me know what you guys think about Jurgen Klopp leaving. Let me know your thoughts on his tenure at Liverpool Football Club and what you think could hold, or the season could hold, for Liverpool. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.